Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Winter Maze Island explanation video. This video is primarily going to be for those of you that don't quite understand how the maze event works. But for those of you that already know everything you need to know about the Winter Maze Island, then don't worry, towards the end of the video I'm going to be talking about which monsters I think are worth getting. And just so everyone knows, all of the information from this video is extracted from Monster-Wiki.com/WinterMazeIsland. So that's the place I go to get all my information. If you need any help with Monster Legend related stuff, such as monster information, such as how to breed certain monsters, information on upcoming events, Monster-Wiki.com is the place to go. So let's start things off. As of the time I'm recording this video, there are 23 days left, 11 hours, 47 minutes, and the seconds are counting by. Winter Maze Island. Lots of new monsters are waiting for you in the new Winter Maze. Come out of the labyrinth of path with as many monsters as possible. So on Monster-Wiki.com there are 4 useful links: summary, map, get coins, and discount. Right now we're on summary, so all the information you're going to see is from the summary. Right off the bat you can see the different pathways of the Winter Maze. The first pathway is a rare monster named Nanukk. Number 2 is an epic monster, Rodolph. Number 3, another epic monster, Sasquach. Number 4, a new epic monster, Furhem. And let's see the other monsters. On 5 we have Bill, new legendary monster. On 6 we have Taiga, a light legendary monster. On 7 we have Kassia, she used to be available in the 72-hour challenge. Pathway 8 we have Olafur, a earth legendary monster. And on the 9th pathway is a new water legendary monster known as Brynhilda. And actually it's just very recently Social Point started giving us 9 pathways. Before we used to only have 8 pathways. So as you can imagine, with more pathways, in order to complete the event it's a lot more costly, and honestly without spending any gems it's not possible to complete this entire event. In the past, players could actually complete the whole event, complete all of round 1 without spending any gems, but because there's 9 pathways now it has become way too expensive, and if you want to get every single monster, I'm just gonna let you know right now, it is not possible without spending gems, or of course without spending money. Anyways, here we have the summary of the Winter Maze Island. Pathway number 1, Nanukk. You need 0 keys to play it. These are all the rewards you get after completing the entire pathway. You would get 3 wheel spins, 2k gold, 1k food, and while you're making your way through that pathway you also unlock key number 3, which is the key to Sasquach. And what do you know, in order to actually move Sasquach you need 1 key, and that key is from Nanukk. Anyways, to complete the entire Nanukk pathway and get him, it costs 245 maze coins. So the summary table is just a really useful guide that tells you pretty much everything you need to know in one quick snapshot. So let's say for example, during the Winter Maze, your objective was to get Kassia. In order to get Kassia, who is in the 7th pathway, you need 3 different keys to play. So then you scroll up and you look where you get those 7 keys. You get 1 from pathway number 4, you get 1 from pathway number 5, you get 1 from pathway number 6. So you would have to move pathways 4, 5, and 6 in order to acquire all the keys to get Kassia. And then once you have all the keys, then you can actually start moving Kassia. And Kassia is going to cost you a total of 7,150 coins. And if you complete the entire Kassia pathway, you also get 12 roulette spins, 4 gems, 250 maze coins, 45k gold, 20k food. And I just want to make this extremely clear. It's important that you guys don't think that in order to get Kassia, it's only going to cost you 7,000 coins. It's actually going to cost a lot more than that, because you got to go through the 6th pathway, through the 5th pathway, through the 4th pathway, and what do you know, in order to get the 5th pathway you need 2 keys, and where do you get those 2 keys? Well, you get them in the Rodolph pathway, and you also get them in the pathway number 4. So it's kind of a lot of navigating you have to do. You need to focus on one monster, navigate them enough to unlock a key, which unlocks another key to a different monster, which unlocks a key to a different monster. And that's why it's a maze. You're trying to navigate through the maze to unlock the keys for the monsters you want, and then to get that monster specifically. Anyways, before I move on, this last row right here, it says the whole event, it would cost 47,800 maze coins. That is a lot of maze coins. And as already mentioned, it's impossible to complete online pathways. If you're not looking to spend any gems or spend any money, it's just not possible. I do imagine though that you can probably get pathways 1 through 8, which means you can get all these monsters without spending any gems. In order to do that though, you'd have to be a pretty dedicated player. You'd have to be logging in every 4 hours, and then you'd be able to do that. Now however, if you don't try so hard, if you know you're going to miss a few days, then I think it's still going to be possible to complete pathways 1 through 7, which is still really good. You're going to get 1 new rare monster, you're going to get yourself 3 epics, and you're going to get yourself 3 legendaries. And let me tell you, pathways 5 and 6, Bill and Taiga, they are pretty cool monsters. And also Kassia, a really awesome monster. So don't fret if you can't complete the entire maze. In my opinion, this is one of the best mazes, and for some reason Social Point gave us some of the best monsters really early on. So anyways, since we're still on the summary tab, if you notice, all of the names of the monsters are highlighted blue. So you can actually click on any of those names. I'm going to click on Sasquach, and it's going to send you to the pathway of only Sasquach. I'm going to scroll down and check that out, path 3 details. So this is actually every single thing you get in the Sasquach pathway. The first column is nodes, second column is type, third column is the cost, and the last column is the rewards. So on the very first node of pathway number 3, you get a reward, and in order to go to the first node, it's going to cost you 40 maze coins, and you get 4,000 food. On the second node, you're going to get a spin, and that's going to cost you 45 maze coins for a total of 85, and right here, you're going to get a roulette spin. And anyways, you can scroll down and down and down, look at node number 7, it's a fight, it's going to cost 55 maze coins to get to that node, and you would have spent a total of 335 maze coins, and these are the 3 monsters you're going to be facing. On the following node, you get gems, and look right here, this is what's important. Node number 10, you get a key. You can receive key number 9 to unlock 1 out of 5 of path 9. Let's keep scrolling down. Look at that, some growler cells. If you want to rank up your growler, this is a really good pathway to go on. Scrolling down, we have more gems, we have some maze coins, and look right there. You can receive key number 8 to unlock 1 out of 4 of pathway number 8. So now I'm going to go back, and let's see, in order to get Sasquach, you need 1 key to play, and you get that key on pathway number 1. So I'm going to click on Nanukk's pathway, I'm going to scroll down to see how much it's going to cost me to get that key to even unlock Sasquach. And it's right here on the second to last node, node number 9. It would have cost me a total of 215 maze coins in order to get to that node, and that's how I get key number 3. So 215 plus the 1,585 from Sasquach. If I want to get Sasquach, it's going to cost 1,800. So that's how you use the summary chart in order to navigate and see exactly how much maze coins it costs to get a particular monster. So if your objective in this maze is Kassia, you can just look through each individual monster and see where you get the keys that unlock Kassia, and then you can just add 7,150 maze coins. You can honestly do this yourself, there's no real need to ask people. But I'm sure by the time this video is out, a lot of people are already going to have guides to get the certain monster you want, and I probably will be making some videos in the future. Anyways, I think I gave a pretty thorough explanation on summary. Next, let's click on map. So when you click on map, it takes you to this complete map view. And this is basically just exactly what the name implies, a complete view of the map without any fog. So you can see everything. You can see where all the monsters are, you can see what all the rewards are, where all the battles are, where all the keys are more importantly. So another way to see how to unlock a certain monster, let's take pathway number 1, right? Nanukk. And you can just count all the nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 9th pathway you get this key. And this key is colored yellow, which by the looks of it is the key to Sasquach, so that's another way to do it if you don't want to go through the summary tab. Feel free to do it whichever way you want. And the next link we're going to look on, which is really important, how to get maze coins. So there's essentially 6 different ways to get maze coins. You can collect gold, collect food, breed monsters, feed your monsters, hatch eggs, and fight in player versus player. Depending on the different activity you do, you get a different number of maze coins. So before we look at that, we need to look at terminology. Chance, % chance of getting maze coins when performing the related action. So you see this 100% here? That means that when you do player versus player, there's a 100% chance that you're going to get maze coins after completing your player versus player. You have to win the battle, by the way. Next is pool. That is the maximum number of available coins to be collected since the last time you played. Can fill up but not past this point. And that last part is super important. You can fill up to that point, but you cannot pass that point. Fight player versus player, for example, has a pool of 15, which means once it respawns, once your pool is full, you're only going to get 15 maze coins. It doesn't matter if you don't play the game for a week, then log in and do player versus player. Don't expect to get a lot of coins. The most coins you're going to get is 15. Spawn time. Time it takes for another coin to be added to the pool. You cannot add to a full pool. So again, the second portion is really important. Now this might trip a little people up. In something like Progressive Islands, spawn time indicates how much time needs to pass just for one coin to be added to the pool. But here in the maze, spawn time actually indicates how long it takes for the pool to be entirely complete. And one thing you're going to notice is that the spawn time for every single activity is only 4 hours. And that is really helpful. And the last piece of terminology is amount. Random amount of coins you gain per action. To be honest, this doesn't really matter. So for example, right here, collect gold. That means that every time you press collect gold, you're gonna get 1 to 5 coins, which from my personal experience, that has never happened. There's so many times when I press collect gold on one habitat and I get my 30 coins. Same with collect food. I click collect food on one farm and I get all my 50 coins. So with that being said, you don't need to worry about chance and you don't need to worry about amount. One thing I like about the Maze Islands is that there's only 2 things you need to understand. One is pool time and one is spawn time. And even if you don't understand pool and spawn time, there's only one thing you need to understand, and that's just log in every 4 hours and do all of your activities. That is it. If you don't get anything from this video, just get that one thing. Log in every 4 hours and do all of your activities. That is all. If you don't understand anything I said in my video, I'm going to emphasize this. Just log in every 4 hours and you're going to be good. Trust me. Anyway, speaking about spawn time, this indicates how long it takes for your pool to be full. And because everything has 4 hours, that means if you've collected all of your pools, everything should be empty. Collecting gold should be empty, collecting food, breeding monsters, everything is at 0. And if you log in 4 hours later, everything is back to being full. So you do everything, bring your pool back to 0, log in every 4 hours, and you repeat that process throughout the day. And that's how you get the maximum number of coins. So the first action is collecting gold. This is really simple to do. If you wanted to, you can honestly just go to one habitat and spam collect gold until you get your 30 coins, and you're finished with that. Collecting food is also really simple. I personally like to plant blue lizard tail because that one is done the fastest. You harvest your crops, you collect all your crops, and you repeat your crops, and you keep doing that until you get your 50 maize coins. That's it, then you move on. Breeding monsters is another really simple one. The one monster you need to breed for this event is Thunder Eagle. Make sure you have one habitat breeding Thunder Eagles. If you want to breed Thunder Eagle, you can just breed Thunder Eagle and Thunder Eagle, or you can breed a legendary in the Thunder Eagle, and that's going to ensure you get Thunder Eagle, which by the way takes 4 hours to breed, which is perfect because the spawn time is 4 hours. Feeding your monsters is another simple action to do. What I personally like to do is to have one habitat breeding fire and nature. That way I get a Pandakin or a Greenosaur. I get a really easy monster that takes really fast to hatch, and then I'll feed him to like level 4, then I'll sell him, and I'll keep repeating that process, and that way I'm not spending so much food, but I'm also getting all of my maize coins. Hatching eggs is another really simple one that works with breeding monsters. If you breed Thunder Eagle, it takes 4 hours for him to be ready to hatch, so then you hatch that Thunder Eagle, and you basically did breed monsters and hatch Eagle in one go. Fight player versus player is pretty self-explanatory. Every 2 hours you get one more battle, so every 4 hours you should have 2 more battles. So make sure you do your player versus player battles and make sure you win them. And regardless of which activity you do, make sure you keep doing it until you empty out your pools entirely. And on a really quick note, from my experience, certain things like collect gold and collect food, specifically over the night, like after I go to sleep, wake up and play the game, I've noticed that sometimes I get even more than the pool says. And actually, I'm going to scroll back down, this is actually my video that Monster-Wiki has put on their website. So thank you Monster-Wiki for that. I've actually showed proof where that's happened, so feel free to check out that video. It's tips and tricks how to get maize coins. It's basically the same stuff you just heard me say. But if you want to see it for yourself in video form, go ahead and watch that video. There's going to be a link to it at the end of this video actually. And there's also going to be a link in the description below. Anyways, the last useful link is discount, also known as happy hours. First thing before I talk about happy hours, time shown below is UTC, GMT plus 0. Make sure you convert it to your local time. So the time shown below is in universal time. So don't think that this time corresponds to your time. You have to make sure you convert it. For those of you that don't know how to convert universal time to your time, I highly recommend Google. Actually, I'm going to make it easier for you. Look in the description below. There's going to be a link to the time converter I like to use whenever I'm too lazy to just subtract numbers. So please be sure to use it. Let's try to reduce the clutter on Monster-Wiki asking what time is the discount in my country, what time is the discount in my time. Please, let's just try to reduce that clutter. Anyways, this chart right here is one of the most useful things you need to understand for the Maze Islands. If you notice, there's a bunch of dates and a lot of things that say 10%. So when there's a happy hours during the Maze Island, basically during that 1 hour, all of the moves are 10% off. So you can imagine if it costs 100 coins to move a monster from one node to another node, it's only going to cost 90 coins. So this can save you a ton. If you remember, the whole event was 47,000. If you were to move only during discount days, you would save yourself 4,700 coins. That is a lot. That adds up easily. So my biggest piece of advice is to only move during discount days. You really shouldn't be in a hurry to get any monster. You have 24 days to get whatever monster you want, so don't rush it. I mean, of course you can, but it's smarter and safer and more efficient if you don't rush it and only use moves during discount days. I don't know how many times I need to tell that to people. One common question I get every time there's a Maze Island event is, when is the discount days? When is happy hours? All of that information is in Monster-Wiki.com. So make sure you bookmark this, make sure you put this on your favorites, make sure you have this information somewhere where it's easily accessible to you. And now to answer the question everyone is wondering, which monsters are actually worth getting? Which monster should you invest your maize coins into? And the good thing about that question is you really can't go wrong. Like I said earlier, this is one of the better mazes Social Point has given us. And really there's two main monsters that I think people should focus on. And luckily for us, I imagine just about every single player, whether you're a brand new player, whether you're level 20, whether you're level 90, doesn't matter what level you are, you should be able to get both Chill Bill and Taiga. Those two monsters in my opinion are the best out of this maze, at least with respect to how much they cost to actually get. So regardless of who you get and whether you get one first or whether you get one second, it doesn't really matter. Most people should be able to get them. But for those of you that want a more precise answer, like who should you focus on first, who should you for sure get, well, I'm gonna tell you. And keep in mind, these are just my opinions. If you disagree with that, go for it. Feel free to get whatever monster you want to get. So the first monster I think everyone should focus on is Taiga. He's a light legendary monster with a really impressive power. Look at that, 3,498. His trait is immune to freeze, making him the first light monster to be immune to freeze. If that's not amazing enough, you look through his skills, he has some pretty amazing skills. I don't want to spoil anything because I will be making analysis videos, but just know he is definitely top priority. And after Taiga, you should focus on Chill Bill. Chill Bill is a water legendary attacker. Social Point is giving us a lot of attackers. Power 3,509, life 26,540, trait also immune to freeze, typical with water monsters. For those of you that want an in-depth explanation on this monster, I already have an analysis video, but just know he is pretty darn good for a water attacker. And quite honestly, one of the reasons I think you should prioritize Taiga before you prioritize Chill Bill is just because with water monsters, there are so many great deny monsters that in Team Wars you're typically always going to be running a water monster without speed runes and use them as your main deny monster. For that reason, Chill Bill probably won't get that much action. But when we look at light monsters on the other hand, we really don't have a good deny monster, a really good light deny monster. So for that reason, when it's a Team Wars involving light and some other element, typically the other element tends to be the deny monster, and for light we either put a really strong supportive monster or we put an attacker, and that's why I think you should prioritize Taiga. So anyways, it's Taiga first, Chill Bill second, and next I'm gonna say prioritize an epic Furhem. He's a really good epic. He's water and earth, so as you can probably imagine, he has stun skills, freeze skills, he has good stats, his trait is immune to stun, that is awesome, and not to mention he's also really cheap to get, so you shouldn't have any trouble getting this monster. You shouldn't have any trouble getting the first 3 monsters on my list. And the 4th monster I think you should prioritize is Nanukk. Yeah, he's only a rare, but he's a pretty darn good rare. Yeah, his max level may be 75, power 1895, life 14,139, speed 2040, his trait though, immune to freeze. He is the very first rare monster to be immune to freeze. And hey, look at that, he's a rare monster with AoE freeze. He also has a 50% stamina drain skill, as well as an AoE blind. Nanukk is a really good rare monster, and not to mention he only costs 245 mace coins. You can get that easily, you can get that in less than like 30 minutes, so make sure you get this monster. On my priority list he may be number 4, but please just do yourself a favor and make sure you get this monster. If anything, just get this monster. Number 5 on the list is Kassia, a pretty impressive light legendary monster. She can sacrifice herself to bring back a dead ally. If you combo her with Timerion and do space time, then she doesn't have to die, so that can be a pretty good combo. But yeah, compared to the other monsters, I don't think she's that high a priority. After Kassia, I would say get Olafur, and the very last monster you should focus on is the monster on pathway number 9, Brynhilda. To be quite honest, I actually like this monster. She can be a hybrid, she can be an attacker, she can be a deny monster. She kinda does offense better than she does denial. Her trait is immune to possession. In a magic war she would be amazing even in a dark war. But considering how expensive it is to actually get this monster, I just don't think it's worth the effort. You're pretty much put in this position where it's get the first 6, 7, or 8 monsters or only get the last monster. So even if you only get 6 monsters, when you compare that to getting 1 monster, I'd rather take my 6 monsters, especially when those 6 monsters include Taiga, Chill Bill, and Kassia, which are 3 good legendary monsters. So in my opinion, just completely forget about pathway number 9. Focus on Taiga, focus on Chill Bill, focus on Furhem, Nanukk, Kassia, and lastly Olafur if you can. Sasquach and Rodolph, just get them at your discretion. I think I prefer Sasquach over Rodolph. If you have to, sacrifice getting Rodolph and Sasquach so you can get someone like Kassia or Olafur. Anyways, that is going to conclude this video. I hope this winter maze explanation video was helpful. For those of you that don't understand maze islands, hopefully you understand it now. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or feel free to message me personally on my Facebook. There's also a link to my Facebook in the descriptions below. I try to reply to all the messages. Just make sure you send me a friend request, then message me, and then it's a lot easier for me to reply. Also, if anything I said wasn't too clear, please don't be afraid of posting a comment below. Trust me when I say that there are so many helpful people in the comment section. They are such a nice group of people, so don't be afraid of asking for clarification on anything mentioned in this video. A lot of people know exactly how the Winter Maze Island works. And because I shared with you guys what monsters I think you should prioritize, I want you guys to do the same. Let me know what monsters you think are worth going for. Let me know what monsters you specifically are going to try to get in the maze. And also let me know what you think about this maze. Do you think it's one of the better ones like I do? Or do you think it's not that great? With all that being said, I want to wish everyone the best of luck on this Winter Maze Island. I hope everyone can get who they want. Remember to wait for discount days. Remember to log in every 4 hours and complete all of your activities and empty out your pools. I hope everyone has a great amazing day or a great amazing night. Remember to dream big and pursue your passions.